No stop signs, speed limits. Nobody's going to slow us down. That's right. We're on a highway to Hull.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Oxford United preview show. It's Tom and Ian, and we are going to talk about Hull City as they host Oxford United. A lot of things happened midweek. Ian, give us a rundown of what happened to Oxford on Tuesday night.
If I could just roll the clock back a few days previous, Thomas, and say Oxford have had a 0-0 draw against Charlton Athletic, where they nearly threw that away in the last seconds of the game, where Charlton had a penalty, but Oxford needed a hero, and up stepped Jack Stevens, nearly called him Jap Stevens, to save that penalty to protect Oxford's draw in that game. So we moved on to the derby with a 0-0 draw rather than a 1-0 defeat. And it was a bit of a slog, but Oxford took the lead early in it and then laboured to get that second goal. And in fact, they gave away another penalty, and we needed Stevens to be a hero again. And he was that hero again. Another penalty save, dive in the same way. Not as good of a save as the one against Charlton, which was a stunning save. This one was a bit of a crap, scuffy kick by Brett Pittman. And then Oxford ran out 2-1 winners in that game. So we are coming off the back of Derby Day delight. We go into this very, very difficult day against Hull, at least with a little bit of confidence. We need to start scoring more goals, but at least we did get a couple of goals in that game, which is very, very encouraging. We need to get our main striker scoring goals, though, Thomas. But the biggest worry is the number of injuries that are just racking up, which leads me to think it could be a very depleted Oxford United side that takes the field against Hull.
So Hull are at home, Oxford are away. Ian, what sort of team do you think Oxford are actually going to be able to put out in this game?
Okay, right. I'm glad you asked me, Tom, because I prepared a tactics board, which I will put on the screen now. And despite his wobbly game against Swindon, I will stick with Jack Stevens in goal. Do you know what? Weirdly, it actually wasn't. He is like the undoubted hero of the week, but he didn't actually have a great game against Swindon. I thought like some of his decision, some of his decision making was a bit off, and maybe he just like felt the nerves of the occasion. But when you got Atkinson and Moore in fine fettle, it doesn't really matter. So Stevens in goal. Obviously, Ruffles left back. You're going to have Atkinson and Moore in the centre. I think he's going to try and play Jamie Hansen at right back in this game, which is the obvious weak link. But I think he's going to do that to try and play Anthony Ford higher up the pitch again. So Goran skated through the games against Charlton and against Swindon, still on 9 yellow cards. So he does manage to play in this game. Goran plays at midfield. I think if he's fit, he's going to play Cameron Brannigan, who did roll his ankle at the end of that Swindon game. So it isn't a guaranteed starter in this one. I think he's going to play Brannigan. I think he's going to continue with Liam Kelly in there as well. And I will be fair to the pretty young lady from Ireland. She has had 2 all right games in the centre of the field, and
possible.
I usually don't like when Liam Kelly plays because I don't think that he really offers anything to the side. But I think in the last 2 games, he certainly improved a lot of his pressing. And I would say there was a couple of times where he did get into some good areas where he looked like he could really impact the game. So if he continues on that vein of form, I think he's worthy of a place in the starting lineup. I'm going to play Anthony Ford on the right, as I already said. I'm going to play Brandon Barker on the left-hand side. He was excellent. I think that was his best game in an Oxford shirt against Swindon. Got the early goal, obviously, but I thought his discipline was a lot better in the game. Coupling that in with the fact that Shodipo rolled his ankle as well and may not be 100% fit, I think you kind of have to start with Barker and then bring players on. And I would start with Matthew Taylor up front. And I know some people will be saying start with Adji, but I just think this is a game where you need Taylor more than Adji. And you can bring Adji onto the game late and impact it like he did against Swindon. Look, I am a massive fan of Dan Adji. And we sing his praises all the time on this bloody
Say his
channel.
name correctly. Say his name correctly.
We are big fans of Daniel Addington III. We sing his praises a lot on this channel all the time. Go back and watch previous videos where I always talk about how he should be playing.
It's true.
I just think in this game, Taylor will be better. I would not be against Adji starting the game on Tuesday night against Doncaster at home. I think that's a good fit for him. But in this one, I'd like to see Taylor start. Does mean there's no room for Jeremiah Sykes, which isn't a bad thing. And I just, what fucks me off with Sykes, again, is the fact Robinson just never sticks to a consistent position for him. He's just, as I said last week, it's like pinned the tail on the tactics board. And he was out on the right wing. Then he's in midfield for a bit, and he just can never get any consistency in his game because he's never played in a consistent position. So that is my starting lineup. How I see the game going is going to be difficult, but I do think Oxford will try and do what they did to Hull in the home game of this one, and that's press them early and try and cause problems and try and get an early goal. We did put them under a lot of pressure, and a lot of Hull fans commented how Oxford worried them a lot more than a lot of sides they played when we played them. And I do expect Oxford to kind of really go for Hull at the start of the game. On the flip side of that, I think we're going to have to weather a fuck ton of pressure at the back end of this one, and which makes it seem like a mirror of the game we played at the Kassam Stadium. But I just don't see it going any other way. And Oxford will back the defence that they've got and how solid they've been in the back. To if they have got a lead, that maybe they can keep Hull to a blank, or maybe even just stop them. Maybe only limit them to one goal and come out with a draw. But it is going to be tough. I have gone for a 2-1 win. Much of that is down to the fact I can't show weakness on this channel. But if you offered me a draw, I would snap your hand off and be driving away from Hull very, very quickly.
Right, Ian, it's time to talk about Hull. They are a literal mirror image of the last time we did this. They sit top of the table. Now they're on 65 points. Peter below them on 62. Lincoln City on 61. They've won 4 of their last 5. They've won 20 matches this season, drawn 5, lost 10. Grant McCann remains their manager. Surprise, surprise. Top of the table pretty much all season, and the manager is still there. They play a 4-3-3, which is currently led by McGuinness, Wilkes, and newcomer Gavin White, who came on loan in January. He's a fantastic player. We all know it. Player I'd like to quickly highlight before moving on is Ingram. He's the undisputed number 1. He's playing in the best defense in the league and conceding the least goals in the league. So he's doing his job right. Top scorer is Malik Wilkes, 17 goals, third in the league in scoring. He's got 2 assists as well. But behind him is Josh McGuinness. McGuinness? We'll go with McGuinness. 11 goals and 4 assists. He's joined 10th. So they've got 2 of the top 10 goal scorers in the league, which is a great reason to be up there. Little bits of news before I give you a breakdown of how this game going. Keane Lewis Potter suffered an injury earlier in the season, was in sensational form, taking him a little while to get back to his previous form, but he did score in the last match. Richie Smallwood, captain fantastic, the Warrior himself, is out till the end of the season, but rumor has it he's behind the scenes cheering him on and driving him forward. They're really lucky they've got McGuinness.
Well, what are they going to say? He's disappeared and he's not at the club and doesn't give a shit.
I mean, he could be like the Palace players who are still turning up to matches, but they're definitely on the beach.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, such an obvious puff piece for a club to spin.
I let him talk for 7 straight minutes, and when I finally get to talk,
I just love that thing. They say that about Moutinho. He's still cheering them on from the sidelines. Got his little rattle. Go on, team!
Right, anyway, McGuinness, Coyle, Doherty, and Honeyman are all leaders, and the club is coping with the loss of Richie because they have players like this out there. Honeyman is really driving this team forward. He's got 3 goals and 11 assists. He's a cut above. Elder, their marauding Australian left-back, is just a beast in attack. He's got 7 assists now. What do you want? What do you want? What?
I remember last time I think you exactly described him as the marauding Australian left-back.
It's the problem when you copy and paste notes.
I think I made a joke about him just being out in the outback, just like.
Well, let me tell you something. If you thought you'd heard this all before, let me tell you some more.
Yeah.
Much like in July, when everyone was saying Grant McCann should be sacked, the same thing happened in January of this year. And has he been proven correct with his 4-3-3 and their style of play? That's right. I was doing this. Awesome defense. They've only conceded 29 goals this season, makes them the best one in the league. 59 goals, best attack. They're still averaging over 60% of the ball, and they have bite. They scored goals. They scored 10 goals and only conceded 1 in their last 4 games. This includes a 3-1 victory over Peterborough in their last match. Last time these two sides drew 1-1, but I do not seeing it playing out that way this time, Ian. I'm sorry. It's going to be 3-0 to the Hull.
Yeah, it surprises me that you go for such a high scoreline. I know you're big on Hull scoring a lot of goals. Oxford have been really good at the back, and you've got to give them some credit for the way they've defended. It's but yes, when you look at it, I mean, Gavin White, obviously ex-Oxford United player, was great when he was at Oxford, and I mean, just what a player to bring in. I mean, we want Oxford, I think, wanted to bring him in as well. I'm pretty sure they did, but he's gone to Hull, and he's just a really to describe him. I mean, he's got bags of pace and he's got bags of skill. And he can be a match winner in any given day.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I remember that hat trick he scored against Shrewsbury at the back end of the season. We had him. I mean, like, what a fantastic goals they were. But Doherty, Honeyman, and Smallwood were like really impactful in that game in the home leg. And their strikers, for some reason, didn't have a great game, but those three were great. And the fullbacks, as you mentioned, Emmanuel on the other side were really good too. But so Oxford have got to be one. I mean, Honeyman's got to be one of the best midfielders in the league. And those players that I've talked about that Oxford really lack, with the ones that can just get the ball and beat people and drive forward. We saw it with Smodics and Dembele in the Peterborough game. So yeah, it is going to be tough. And I look at the depth that Hull have as well in their squad, and it's like, yeah, the players they can bring off the bench, they can really impact this game as well, especially with Oxford being a bit depleted at the moment. But I can understand why the fans were a bit against Honeyman.
Out.
They did go for a really bad patch, and it did look like it was like shades of last year, where they were going to just get into a great position and then just fall flat as a pancake in the second half. And the fans, you can understand them get it, because it was a disaster at the back end of last season. So they were they are probably quicker than most to judge. But yeah, he has definitely turned it around, and they've returned to form, because from what I've seen, they definitely were one of the most powerful and dangerous sides that we played, and I felt it felt like a fantastic 1-1 draw when we got it at the Kassam Stadium at the time, and really hope we can do something similar. But I'm not exactly confident.
I to be fair, Ian, I'm never confident in League One. This league is nuts. Oxford could go out and win this game 4-0, and you'd be like, oh yeah,
cool. I know this video might go a little bit long, but it's just something else I want to touch on as well, and it's the fixture list and the run-in. And Oxford's next few games are brutal, and I know you've talked on it in the past. It's Hull, it's Doncaster, we've got Blackpool, we've got Lincoln coming up, all in a short space of time. And there's a very good chance that we might go through a bad run there, especially with the players we've got out. And there's a very good chance it's going to be all doom and gloom and it's going to be a nightmare. But I was just stressed to Oxford fans, do not rule this season out. Our final 8 games of the season are all winnable, very winnable. And if we can get somewhere in touch, we could be that side that steams through on the rails.
Is it going to be Burton versus Oxford in the final match of the season for a playoff place?
It could be, but I mean, like at that final 8 games, I mean, we got Accrington's going to be a tough game, but then we got like we've got like AFC Wimbledon. We've got 2 games against Shrewsbury. We've got
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got a lot of sides that are down the bottom of the league. I forget the other ones off the top of my head, and you look at them and you just think that is somewhere where we could get like 6 wins out of 8, and it just skyrockets you right up there. So don't just go saying season over after a couple of bad results.
If you do enjoy the channel and you come here weekly, please look at our Patreon. We really do appreciate and need the support. I think that's really all I need to say, except put your predictions below. And if you stay watching this video right now, if you stay on here after I say goodbye to you, it's quite possible fan videos will start coming up and saying predictions.
You are correct, Thomas. It is time for the best part of the video. It is time for fans' predictions, and it is certainly not something we filmed a day after recording the first part of this video. But unfortunately, we do only have 4 this week, but what a 4 it is. We will start with back-to-back Allen brothers. Now, that is 3 all the Allen brothers on the same video. You've got yourself a real bargain there, folks. A real bargain. We are going to start with PBA himself, pessimistic brother Alan.
Hey, VBO, just doing my weekly prediction. I am going to be pessimistic. We are playing the league leaders, and although it was a fantastic result against Swindon yesterday, I really can't see us beating them. I'm going to go down to a 2-0 defeat. Sorry, guys.
Jesus, pessimistic brother Alan. I get it. I get your pessimistic brother Alan. I get that you have to go for these negative. Really? You're siding with me on this? I know nothing about football. This is poor decision making on your part.
He is. He studied at the Vulcan University, Thomas. So he is a being of pure logic.
No emotion.
Yes. Right. That is that side of the coin. And thank you, as always, to PBA for sending in his prediction and for being a Patreon backer. But we move to the other side of the force, if you like, and we go to, I don't have a name for him, so I'll just say middle brother Alan.
Hello, very biased opinions. Andy here. After the great win against the Scum, Hull's going to be an incredibly tough match. The top of the league, they've been playing some great football, and they've been on a great run. I can't see us winning, but I'm going to go for a very optimistic 1-1 draw. Okay, cheers.
It doesn't look like anybody's quite going to have the faith and belief to back Oxford United for a win this week. I think that shows you exactly the kind of task we're up against this weekend. But it's gone
what
for a
about
draw.
Never showing weakness?
Well,
never
That's for me, Thomas. I have to carry that coin for the whole of Oxford United fanville. Look, if we did one for Man United, how many Man United fans would have phoned in last week or put their videos in last week saying win for City? Thousands.
2-1 to United, just saying.
Yeah, I know you did.
Never show weakness. Never show weakness.
I'm not showing weakness. Right, enough of this. We move on to the third one. It's from our neutral friend, our Switzerland of very biased opinions. It is Matt, the Tangerine Man. Let's see what he thinks about this game.
All right, let's go, lads. Hull versus Oxford. How did I almost forget Oxford? Don't know, but will you get a result? I think you'll get a point. In all honesty, I think they'll probably get a penalty in the last minute to win it, and Stevens will save it, because from what I've heard, he's a bit of a beast in goal at saving pens. So yeah, good luck for this weekend. Obviously, you're looking like you're playoff contenders with Blackpool, so good luck for the rest of the season until you play us up the pool.
Matt, I want to stick my teeth into the tie coming up next week.
I was wondering where you were. I was so worried where you were going with the start of that.
I want to suck it all up.
What?
But I enjoy the idea of a draw.
Matt, if you never want to send a video in again after that, I totally understand. And thank you for sending the video in. Remember, we've got that agreement that Oxford have to beat Blackpool next weekend, so bear that in mind when you do your video. But hopefully you're right on this one, and Oxford do get a point, although I still think they can get all three. But we round it off with another Patreon backer, the Sex Panther of the betting world. It is Matt from Grandstand Betters.
Grandstand Betters here with your Oxford Hull City prediction this weekend. Hull, tough team. They are at the top of the league. Oxford's coming off a nice win against, I believe, the team we don't speak of. But I'm going to tell you right now, they play up to who they're playing, and they play down to who they're playing. Oxford usually does that, and I think they're going to play pretty well against Hull. And I see a 2-2 draw here. So go Oxford this week.
What video is that from?
Very good question, Thomas. And thank you to Matt from Grandstand Betters for his prediction. That is from our collaboration video that we do every single week with Grandstand Betters. It comes out on their channel on a Friday, where we give our betting tips for what we think is going to happen over this weekend of football. So basically, Grandstand Betters are excellent at predicting football matches, and this is the one time in the week where we sully their reputation by I don't know why they've let us two cowboys, come on their channel every week. But hey ho, you should definitely go and check that out, and you should definitely go and check out Grandstand Betters. Their details are on the screen. But that will do it for fan predictions. Thomas has already given us a big round out before and everything else, so there's nothing else to say. Hopefully we get some more predictions in next week. We do it every week, so make sure you do send your predictions in. But without further ado, we'll see you on the live stream tomorrow. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow.